Hey guys, just a quick heads up. I know that we usually do game footage for these podcasts. Unfortunately, Capcom issued a copyright strike on my podcast, which I guess means that they don't want free advertising. It was a visual only copyright strike, which I didn't even know was a thing. But anyway, we're going to be doing instead this glorious still shot of the character I created in Dragon's Dogma, so I hope you guys enjoy that. I am sorry there's no gameplay footage, but, my hands are tied, so enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Game Not Game podcast. My name is Green, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Zen, from his channel, Zen and Cyrene. How you doing, Zen?
I am doing well. Did you know that you have never messed up my name or yours?
I'm sure I have at some point.
Not as much as me.
Definitely not that, but that would be hard. I'd have to make a conscious effort at it. No, I've slipped up intros before.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I've been in this business a long time.
Yep. Speaking of slipping.
Oh no. Good. We got maybe our best first topic ever.
Or the worst, especially if you're the owner of a penis. So here's the thing. I do read medical journals. I think it's okay for me to say that is part of my job. If you haven't guessed this already, because I do post about it on Twitter sometimes, and I have on occasion posted funny abstracts that I find sometimes. And this one is not so funny. But I decided to discuss it because maybe it is funny. It's a case report called "Fracture Penis. Is it really an uncommon entity?" Written by Lieutenant Colonel Bharath Kumar and Colonel Anil Akua in India. So these are military men who have written this journal paper.
Yeah, I didn't notice that before. That makes it so much better.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I mean, I'm sure they have commissions in the military, but they're actually doctors, would be my guess, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
But it's just, it's really good that it's made by a Lieutenant Colonel.
Yep.
Bharath.
Yep. And prepare to cringe. The case article is about 3 cases within the space of 10 days. All of them who were having sex, and their erect penis slipped out of the respective vaginas during intercourse, hit the female perineum, which I assume, if I remember correctly, is that hard bone around the pelvis of the penis, and fractured.
Not the one you're thinking of.
No, not the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's painful. I wouldn't suggest that you Google this paper, because the first time I found this paper, I read the abstract. The abstract had no pictures in it, and then I Googled it again, and unfortunately there were pictures of it, and some of it looks extremely painful. So I would not recommend searching for it, but
no, it's really good. It's got some instead of looking at the pictures, you can just, if you read about it, it has some really colorful descriptions of what happened. For example, the blunt sexual trauma leads to an eggplant deformity.
Oh no.
Which I just love the term eggplant deformity so much.
Yep. I mean, I guess, I get what they're going for. I actually saw the picture
totally.
now. And it does turn a little bit purple, like you would expect a bruise, which is a hematoma, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it kind of, it gets that eggplant shape going on.
Yep. And I feel sorry for this, because it's painful. Of course it's painful, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, they did say that post-operative recovery was uneventful in all patients, and they were discharged with advice to avoid sexual intercourse and masturbation for 1 month.
Yeah, as if you wouldn't take that advice just instinctively. Like, oh, it hurts so much, but...
And then after that, they went out to the discussion where they did say the perineum. The perineum is the pubic bone, so it is hard. And it says that, because this is where they discuss, I guess, their background information, the tensile strength of the tunica albuginea, which I assume is part of the penis, is very high. resisting rupture until intracavernous pressures rise to more than 1,500 milligrams or millimeters mercury. So somebody has done that research, finding out the tensile strength of that part of the penis.
Yeah, wow. I do not want to be in that medical study.
No, you don't want
So we're just going to be slowly adding pressure to your penis until it ruptures.
Scientists do some really, on the face of it, strange things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know this. I know in food science, right? You know how people want to find out how crunchy something is, but they need a quantitative way of measuring that?
Aha.
Yeah, so what they would do is they would set up an artificial, it's kind of like a tooth, but at the end of a robot, a metal arm thing, and then it would just smash against the food over and over again. And then they measure the force or the resistivity of the food against that artificial tooth thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, food scientists are crazy, man. They'll do things like put a watermelon through an MRI scan.
For what purpose?
I don't know. I assume it's for agricultural purposes, I guess, to be able to look at the seeds and the water content, I suppose, without having to crack open the watermelon first.
I guess so.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to know how exactly they came up with this number here. I mean, I suppose I could track down the research about this, but I'm not going to.
You're afraid there's going to be more pictures?
I've seen enough pictures of fractures penises in my life now. Thank you,
dude. Things like that, like numbers like that we have, come from like Nazi Germany scientists.
Man,
like they just had a scientist in World War II era Germany just bending penises. Like, yep, 100 million milliliters or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't think I doubt very much that they would quote Nazi scientists just because they're Nazi scientists. I found the paper. Oh, it's even worse than I thought. The paper in which they found out how this number.
How is it?
Okay, so the paper is from 1990, so about 20 plus years ago, from the journal Urology.
So I was off a little while.
Yeah, you were. The elasticity and the tensile strength of the tunica albuginea of the corpora cavernosa. I don't know what the tunica albuginea is. The corpora cavernosa is the hollow part of the penis that fills up with blood when it gets erect. And
it's not really hollow, is it? It's like an empty bag.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I don't know the actual physiological structure. I just remember that name from when I had to take anatomy classes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the methods for it. 20 cadavers.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
I like where this is going.
Yep. Well, between 33 and 83 were examined. Cavernosometry? I have no idea what that is. Cavernosometry was performed in all specimens. The flow rate was increased until herniation appeared. So there you go. I don't understand what the impetus is for doing this research.
You want to know, what you can safely do to a penis before it ruptures.
I guess
it's important. It's medically important.
I guess so. I don't know. I'm afraid to do this, but I am going to Google cavernosometry now because I hate myself, basically.
It sounds like they were pumping fluid into it.
It does sound like it. It's a test. Oh, this is actually a pretty routine test.
Yeah.
It's a test that measures blood pressure in your penis.
Okay. Yeah, just normal routine stuff here.
No, seriously, it says it's sometimes used to diagnose erectile dysfunction. So which
yeah, they can't just look and tell. They're like, yep. Your blood pressure in your penis is down. There's your sexual problem.
Yep. Doctor, I can't get it up. Well, I'm just going to confirm that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Man, we are in a magical mystery right now for sure. I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of this thing. Oh my god, this is not real. This can't be real. I'm looking at a picture here. Right, it's not about a penis. It's about this robot, I guess. I don't know, but it says that there's a test called dynamic infusion cavernosometry and cavernosography. Abbreviated, it's DICC.
No, that could totally be real, dude. Scientists have a sense of humor. That's the kind of shit scientists totally do.
I'm going to see if this is real. Let's just fully go down the rabbit hole here. Never mind that there's pictures of the actual process here. I just want to. Oh yeah, that's. Oh, don't Google it, folks. Do not Google this. I'm used to anatomical pictures of bad things anatomically because I work in medicine. You don't want to see the stuff here. But yes, it is a real thing.
Yeah, the DICC.
Who came up with this acronym? My God.
Dude, that's like when I was a kid. I don't know if you would have seen any shows made by this company, but there's like a production company called DIC.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and like at the end of or start of a show, there would be like a little like fairy making the logo or something. It's like DIC, and of course, as I got older, that became hilarious.
I never once thought that was funny when I was a kid. It just flew over my head. Whatever. It's just the stupid thing that comes on at the end of a cartoon,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. I was reminded of it recently. I saw a funny like a Vine or something of that logo, and then they just like instead of the little girl going "Dick," it was a guy going "Dick." It really caught me off guard. It was pretty good. Oh man.
Well, the real reason I wanted to bring this up is it's really because there's a fallacy here that annoys me.
Oh, a fallacy.
Yeah, that's fallacy. It's fallacy, not flaccid. A fallacy here that they called the title the journal "Fracture Penis." Is it really an uncommon entity? And I'm just saying, that's anecdotal. 3 cases in 10 days. It's unusual, but it's not generalizable to all cases of fractured penis.
No, it isn't. Yeah, it's a very interesting discussion of kind of typical fractured penises, but it says nothing about their frequency at all. So yeah, that is just incorrectly titled, I would say.
Yeah. Also fractured penis.
Yeah, it should have a D on the end there. Fractured penis.
Fractured penis. Yes.
From Mattel.
Compatible with all Barbie dolls.
Fracture penis. Yeah.
Oh man, those 90s cartoons, toy ads. They're all like that, right?
They are. They totally are. You'll get caught up in the fracture penis. Fracture penis. Right. So,
hello, sir. You've got a lawyer on the line.
So do you think that's enough on penises, or did you have more, or any further down the rabbit hole that we can slide here?
No, we're sliding out of the rabbit hole and hopefully not hitting anything.
Hitting the perineum. Good. So, on a completely different note, they made a remaster of Assassin's Creed 2 to be on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I think and PlayStation 4. Might just be the Xbox One, actually. That's the only one I've heard of. But it's quite something. This is, people who have been following the Assassin's Creed franchise recently have seen some pretty hilarious things. In Assassin's Creed 4, the pirate one, people would just disappear entirely from cutscenes, which was hilarious sometimes. Assassin's Creed 5 stepped that up a notch by making only skin meshes disappear, which means that the clothing, the hair, the teeth, the eyeballs were all left behind. Which, if you haven't seen that, you owe it to yourself to check out some Assassin's Creed Unity glitch screenshots. That should be pretty easy to Google. Horrifying stuff. Just floating eyeballs and like the entire mouth mesh just like floating in midair. Good stuff. And then, so, Assassin's Creed hasn't been doing the greatest, but in the time of Assassin's Creed 2, it was a pretty big deal. Like, it was a very well-renowned series. And people still feel very positively about it, including my girlfriend Katie, who was extremely taken aback when she saw the remaster, because they really just fucked some people up. Like, it's great. Have you seen any screenshots of this then?
Yeah, a couple of days ago, or maybe it was last week. Yeah, it was last week. People were just retweeting the shit out of a certain screenshot of somebody in the background or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's not even in the background. Like, he's part of the scene. He's, like, there's a cinematic thing happening, and they show a screenshot from the original game, which actually looks pretty good, especially considering how old that game is. And then side-by-side comparison, it's like there's a little more color in it, and also one of the dudes just looks fucking nuts. Like, he's got this like bright pink I almost said flavored, but bright pink colored lips, and his eyes are all wide and crazy. He looks like a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah,
I
saw
really
that.
Weird.
And do you that one? Do you remember that one famous case of a picture that was vandalized, like a painting?
Oh yeah, dude, you're right. It totally looks like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't. I don't think that was vandalism. Somebody tried to restore that piece.
Oh yeah. Somebody tried to restore that piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending.
No, that's really good.
Yeah. So it looked really bad and also extremely funny. And that Assassin's Creed picture or screenshot reminds me a lot of that. Hello?
Hey, yeah. Sorry, I found it. So you can find this by Google searching "elderly woman's hilarious failed attempt at restoring a 19th century fresco in Borja, Spain." And yeah, it's quite a thing. It's like the before and after are just it's something to behold. So the original picture is very clearly of I believe that's Jesus, right?
It is Jesus.
Yeah, totally looks like Jesus. It's a little hard to tell because it is like very faded. There's a lot of paint missing from it, so a lot of white spots. But it's still very clear that there's a good painting under there. And this woman is like, "Oh, I got this." Just fucking paints over the thing. And it ends up not looking like a human, but more like a weird monkey thing. Yeah, you owe it to yourself to check out this picture. She fucked it up so bad because like it's so easy to tell what happened too. Because she's like, oh, I just got to add some color here and fix this up, and oh, whoops, now it doesn't match here, so I'd better paint this part too. And she ends up just painting over the entire painting, with significantly less detail and also less anatomical correctness and missing a lot. And there's also pretty clearly a part where she goes, "Oh shit, I really fucked up," and just stops. I don't think she's done here.
Well, I'll tell you though, there is a good thing side to this because it attracted a lot of tourists, like a lot. Apparently, 160,000 new visitors to the church after the botched restoration.
What? Just to pay homage to this fucking monstrosity.
Yeah, and people are selling souvenirs with that picture on mugs.
Dude, this is the fucking Ken Bone of art. Like, what am I trying to say? Old art. I don't know. There's a better word for that.
Oh my god! I'm looking at some. They are actually souvenirs, teddy bears with the picture of the restored Jesus on their T-shirts. Souvenir mugs, bottles of wine.
Somebody should just make a teddy bear that looks like that thing.
I bet they could. Somebody could do it.
It looks more like a plush toy than a human being at this point.
It really does. But yeah, sorry, I derailed you talking about Assassin's Creed.
Oh, not at all. No, that's the most apt comparison I can possibly imagine. It totally does look like that. It's like, oh yeah, somebody's like, I can make this model better, and then he just fucks it up. And the thing that makes it more hilarious is that he wasn't painting over it. Like, he could have just gone, no, that wasn't better, but he chose not to. He kept it.
You know, the funny thing to me is that, do you know who Mr. Bean is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the Mr. Bean movie?
No.
Okay, so just a little bit of context here. Mr. Bean was he's a character by Rowan Atkinson, an extremely popular British comedy slapstick series from the 1990s. And very popular because, number one, Mr. Bean's kind of an idiot, and number two, there's really no language used at all through most of it. It's just all physicality and slapstick, right? And embarrassing social situations. So because of that, it became really popular worldwide. There's no language barrier to get through, really. And the plot of the Mr. Bean movie is exactly this. He screws up a major painting and then repaints it in a really bad way. This is life imitating art.
Yeah, totally.
So
also, Mr. Bean looks a little bit like that guy from Assassin's Creed 2 Remastered.
Man, I should rewatch Mr. Bean. Have you ever seen it?
I have not. No, yeah, I've heard things about it, but I've never just hasn't happened.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about it now as a grown man, but I really enjoyed it as a kid. So cool. I guess maybe I should go check it out again and see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. From Assassin's Creed, what else would you like to talk about?
Let's see here. Oh yeah, there's a pretty good bundle going on right now. It's called Good Bundle, or The Good Bundle, maybe. It's on itch.io. Itch.io? Itch.io.
Itch.io.
Yeah. It's a good bundle. Itch.io itch.io/b/149/a-good-bundle. And there'll be a link to that in the description as well, if I remember, which I hopefully will. Definitely should check this out. It's pretty nuts. It's 151 video games for $20, and there are tiers, so you can get a number of games for anything. You can get a number of them for only $2, and then there's an $8 tier, and finally a $20 tier. And it is 151 games, so as you might imagine, you scroll through this list and you're like never heard of it. But there are a few standouts here. There's Gone Home in there, notably, is a famously pretty good game, and God, there were some other ones that I recognized as well. I should have made a list first. I'm scrolling through, but it's 151 fucking games, so it's hard to find them.
Yeah, if you pay attention, if you have followed indie games, yeah, Proteus, Soccer Bond is another one that has shown up in the indie scene. Collateral Damage got a bit of attention about a year ago. The Novelist is a story-based game, much like Gone Home.
Read Only Memory is in here.
Yeah, which is very much... Read Only Memories is interesting. If you remember anime from the 90s, like cyberpunk anime from the 90s, this will hit every nostalgia button in your body. So if you remember things like Bubblegum Crisis, etc., you should check that game out. Catacomb Kids...
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me. I never played it.
I don't know. I haven't really looked much at Catacomb Kids lately. There was some talk about it like 2 years ago, and it's still an alpha, which is
it's one of those.
Yeah, just like Chasm has been. Chasm's not even out yet. Even though Chasm looks really promising, it's just that the development cycle has been extremely long.
Yep. But yeah. Anyway, you. This bundle is for a good cause. It's 100% of the proceeds, so nothing's going to the devs. It's all to charity, split 50-50 between the American Civil Liberties Union and Planned Parenthood, which are two, if you're not from the U.S., those are two U.S.-based organizations that help minorities and women with stuff. So,
yeah.
Important stuff. Important organizations. Oh, Killing Time at Light Speed. That's another one that I have seen. And again, it's 151 games, so obviously they're not all going to be hits, but it would be pretty unlikely if none of them were hits either. So even if you've never heard any of these, it's probably worth it to pick up the bundle, and then you'll have games to check out for the next year and a half. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
and it was made kind of in response to the election in America and people being worried about what's going to happen to things for minorities and women. So this is kind of a response to that. Just a bunch of developers getting together, 115 game developers getting together and saying, hey, we want to do something about this. So it's a good cause. I highly recommend checking that out.
So, just as a side note here, that reminds me, I think we've been avoiding talking about election news for obvious reasons because we don't really cover that. But after the election, a lot of news organizations, which are not publicly funded, they started seeing upticks in the amount of money being pledged to them. And yeah, so I think ProPublica got a big boost from being featured on being called upon by the John Oliver show, whatever it's called. And they do long-form public interest investigation, which is something that's sorely needed nowadays.
Yes.
Needed since forever. But since cable news is shitty and doesn't even try to do serious stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that if you have the means for it, and it doesn't matter what your politics are, if you have the means for it and you know of a news organization that you think does good work and you want to support, I think by all means I would encourage you to do it.
Definitely. Yeah, news is extremely important in this modern world, and we've been seeing the results of news not really doing their job that well.
Yeah. Yep. So there's that news that doesn't get good support and then have to, get on the gigantic stupid news cycle in order to get more clicks or views. Yeah,
the clickbait fucking train has been the worst thing for media ever. Just the fact that it doesn't matter how true something is, it doesn't matter how well written something is, it matters how many people are going to click on it as an instant gut reaction.
Yep.
That's been, that makes us focus on the wrong kinds of stories as a society.
Yep. Yeah, I'm probably going to pledge NPR this year, I think. And then I'll get a nice tote bag, I'm sure.
Yeah, tote bag. Or you can get 151 video games.
Just saying. 151 video games, that's true. I should do this, by the way. There are some titles in here that I've heard of, but I never got around to checking out. So maybe I will check this out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Also, if you're in the mood for cheap video games after hearing about that, Steam has started their Steam sale as well. Mm-hmm. I guess their Black Friday sale, basically. Civilization 5 is absurdly cheap.
Oh, 5. Okay,
yeah, not 6. I think 6 is maybe discounted, but not a lot.
Yeah,
obviously it's brand new.
Yeah.
Doom actually is $20, 67% off. Fallout 4 as well. Same price.
Yeah, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is 50% off, which is
so is Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, which is pretty fast. I think Deus Ex came out last month, right?
Yeah, Doom wasn't too far behind that either. Yeah, so lots of Civilization 6 is 10% off right now.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, lots of really solid deals, so worth checking out. Also, actually, the thing that I bought, Steam controller, is 30% off, which is $15 off. $35 is $8 shipping, bringing you up to $43, which is pretty good for a high quality controller. I do have an Xbox One controller that I intend to keep on using, but Steam controller I'm interested in because it plays different kinds of games, and also I'll be able to control my laptop from the couch while it's plugged into my TV. So I'm looking forward to that. I will let you guys know when that arrives what I think of it, because I've heard extremely mixed things about it. Sorry?
You've heard extremely mixed things about the Steam controller?
I have.
Huh.
There are people who love it and there are people who hate it.
Okay.
There are not very many people in between.
Okay, well, I was going to say that, my controller, it's 4 or 5 years old now. It's still working. Mm-hmm. So, I'm probably not going to buy any other controllers for right now, but I imagine once my controller eventually stops working, then maybe I'll look into the Steam controller myself.
Yeah, I will, I'll be able to give you a good review on it. What I expect is it's going to fill a different role for me than a typical controller. I think I'm going to want to own both an Xbox One controller and a Steam controller because they're going to be for different games. I just don't imagine the Steam controller being a great Spelunky controller for me or anything like that. But we'll see. I'll find out if I'm right about that.
Okie dokie. So if you have, so why don't you let us know the various things that you bought the Steam sale?
Yeah, post in the comments if you find a good deal in the Steam sale. I'll be interested to hear about that.
Yeah. Are there any games that you're interested in maybe getting this time around, Green?
Yeah, I was thinking about Doom. I'm super low on money right now. I pretty much tapped myself out on the Steam controller. But if I was a rich man, I would definitely be eyeing Doom pretty hard, and I would also be considering Far Cry Primal.
Oh, okay.
Those both sound pretty fun, and especially Doom, though. Doom already being 67% off, that's pretty crazy. Under $20 for what I've heard is incredibly good game. Also, Titanfall 2, I think, is already discounted on Amazon, I think. Let me see if that's still true.
That's quick.
I read something. Yeah, it might not be anymore. No, it's not.
Okay,
oh, wait,
well.
no, that's for PS4. Hang on. Where's the PC? PC. Yeah, it is. It's $50 right now on Amazon, but I think it was for a little while $30, which is half off, which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's already over. I didn't find out about that until it was gone.
I mean, if they're willing to put it on sale that quickly, they're probably going to do it again soon. Christmas sale, right?
Yeah, definitely. Titanfall 2 is in an interesting place. It's people are afraid to buy it because Titanfall 1 was extremely multiplayer focused and then nobody played it. And now people are looking at Titanfall 2 like, yeah, it looks fun, but I bought Titanfall 1 and nobody fucking played it. So, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, if everybody is afraid to buy a game because nobody plays it, then nobody's going to play that game.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. But I've heard amazing things, especially oddly enough, about the single-player campaign of Titanfall 2. People keep on talking about how good it is, so I want to check that out at some point.
Do you think that was in response to criticism?
I think so, because Titanfall 1 didn't even have a single-player campaign.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, it still doesn't. But at the time I played it, it didn't anyway. I remember I got Titanfall 1 like a year after it came out for something ridiculous, like $5. So we'll see if that's the fate of Titanfall 2. I suspect the reason they put it on sale so quickly is because they really want a fucking player base. Like, come on, we got to get people into these multiplayer servers, or this is not going to be good for us.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Also, City Skylines $750 on Steam. It's a pretty good deal.
For me, I don't know. The only thing that really jumps out at me right now is this Gaia, actually. But I can wait on that.
Dude, a friend of mine, Chaos, bought that for me, and I could not get into it. I feel bad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, if you're not really into Japanese strategy RPGs, it can be a little bit hard to get into, I think.
Yeah, it was very confusing, and also made more confusing by the fact that the controller, or like the transition to PC was not flawless.
Oh yeah.
It's really hard to tell what button is tied to do what. Like, if you look in the controls menu, it's like, yeah, button 1 does this, but you have no concept of what button 1 is.
Oh yeah, I was having
a lot of trouble just figuring out how to control like what button I wanted to push, and I would fuck up and do the wrong thing and die and just
Okay, well, unfortunately, that's not good because I think this guy. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, certainly, but there are things about it that I like the item worlds feature in which you just almost recursively just dive into items to get better items. That part had a hold on me when the game first came out in like 2004.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Especially, I feel like in that era of gaming, that was really something unique.
That's true, actually. You that's a very good point. I didn't even realize that. Huh.
Yeah, I'm sure it's influenced a lot of design that came after it. But yeah, I remember having similar experiences, like thinking things like that were super neat during that era, because they're just games were very formulaic in 2004, I feel. To a large degree. So anything that kind of broke the mold like that, I can definitely see being super into it.
I think people complain sometimes. I've seen this complaint, unfortunately. Maybe not so much anymore, but people are saying, "Oh yeah, it's just another indie game." Well, if you go back to 2004, the variety of games compared to the indie game revolution, so to speak, is much, much less. So there's something to be said for indie developers coming along. And yes, a lot of them being very derivative of each other, but also a lot of them doing really very creative things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think to a large extent, the indie movement has informed AAA games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not completely, but AAA games have been repeatedly looking at the indie game scene and being like, oh wow, this is like, for example, Minecraft.
Yep.
We would not have crafting systems in every fucking video game if it weren't for Minecraft. And that's not necessarily the most positive example, but it's definitely something where indie games have made their mark on games as a whole.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like indie games particularly, you owe a lot of variety in AAA games to indie games.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so that's a Steam sale covered.
Yeah, lots of good deals. It's interesting. It's like way less exciting when there's not like daily deals and shit because of refunds. Like there used to be flash sales where a game would go on sale for like 12 hours at a time, so you had to check repeatedly. But I do enjoy that all the good sales are just right up front. Like it's a much more impressive sale than some past ones. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider 50% off, Far Cry 4 50% off. Just like all the 50% offs are already done instead of having to wait for them.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's the same for the Steam sales for the last 2 years. I do feel a certain amount of fatigue. And that's probably not going to change at this point. No. So I'm looking at this guy, I'm thinking, yeah, but I've got, 10,000 different other... Well, not 10,000, but I have a lot less time than games nowadays, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's exhausting looking through my Steam library looking for something to play. It's like a bunch of bullshit.
Yep. Okay.
Video games.
Yep, video games. Let's see. What else were we going to talk about today?
Great question, Zen.
Oh, wow. I think this is the first time in like 30 episodes in which we actually came to the end of our topics.
I was going to mention Overwatch. There's another PTR with some really crazy changes.
Wait, what's Overwatch. A PTR?
Sorry, Public Test Realm.
Okay.
That's like the test server where everything's made up and the points don't matter effectively. It's just they test updates that aren't necessarily going to become permanent. But there's a character called Symmetra who's been in a really weird place. She's super strong in very narrow situations and otherwise is a trash pick. Because her ultimate is a teleporter that teleports everybody when they spawn straight, if they so choose, straight from the spawn room to the teleporter, so you can hide it somewhere and get people back faster. That's a huge deal if you're fighting way far away from your spawn. It means nothing if you're fighting right next to your spawn. Mm-hmm. So pretty much she lived or died based on whether her teleporter was useful. So they were thinking about ways to reconfigure her to work a little better, and they ended up changing her way more than I expected. Not only is she the only hero that has a choice between two ultimates, she can either put down a teleporter or a shield generator that gives everybody a little extra HP when they're in the area. And it works the same as the teleporter. People have to go and track it down and kill it before it stops doing that. But also, she used to have an ability that would if somebody didn't have a shield yet, she could press E on them and they would get a little extra shield on their health bar, which was nice, but that's been replaced by her ultimate, basically. And instead, she has this big fucking barrier that she can, throw forward, and it moves slowly forward down a choke point or whatever. So she's almost like a Reinhardt or something. She can just make a shield that blocks bullets. Really weird.
Do you think, I know this is going to sound dumb, but I don't know much about Overwatch. Do you think that will make her more playable?
I think so, yeah. It's a pretty crazy ability, especially for a support to have, to just be able to protect the entire team like that behind a barrier. Previously, the only people who could do that are tanks. You have a tank, they make a big shield, everybody goes in behind it, but she can kind of play a little bit of a tanky role now in terms of getting people past dangerous places, because that's the whole point of having a Reinhardt or something, is he makes a big ass shield and your whole team goes in behind him, so they don't just get blasted down by snipers and stuff. So now she can do that kind of, but not quite as well. It's weird. It puts her in a very strange place as far as what kind of character she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, since you brought up Overwatch, I should say that Blizzard is having a Black Friday sale.
Really?
Yes, they are.
I didn't even know Blizzard had sales.
Yeah, which is weird, right? But if I go on Polygon.com right now, it says Blizzard Black Friday sales, 40% off of Overwatch, Origins Edition, World of Warcraft for $5, StarCraft 2 is on sale, and discounted bundles for Heroes of the Storm. Nothing for Diablo 3 or Hearthstone, unfortunately, but you can, if you're interested in those games that I mentioned, you can go check them out on Black Friday. Wait, hold on. This is coming out on Sunday. Okay, the Black Friday sale just occurred.
Is it going to be over?
Well, let's see. It's through Black Friday week. Let's have a look at the Black Friday sale. Yeah.
It's probably over then.
Yes, through November the 28th. So that means it's going to be almost over by the time you hear this.
Yeah, quick.
Quick. As soon as you hear this, go check it out if you haven't heard about it for some reason.
You got a day. You got time.
Yep.
You'll check it out. Also, the Steam sale is on until next Tuesday, I believe, which is the 29th. So, got some time on both of those.
Yep. Let me also say, by the way, when you said everything, the points don't matter, I imagined like Drew Carey in a May suit, which is why I laughed so much just now. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind.
Dude, there needs to be a Drew Carey skin for May. Holy shit. That'd be the best. I would love that.
Oh, God. Oh, man. I'm sure Drew Carey would love to be in a video game.
He probably would.
Yeah.
If he's capable of living anything.
He's been on the Price is Right for like 2 years now. I think maybe he's so.
Oh, is that what he's up to?
Yeah, he's the host for the Price is Right.
Interesting. See, I was about to ask where the fuck, what happened to that guy?
He took over from Bob Barker.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember hearing something about that, but it quickly went out the other ear. I don't really follow Price is Right or TV game shows at all.
Well, I don't have TV anymore, but back like a couple of years ago or last year when I was looking after my mom, we would watch game shows sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Drew Carey is on the show. He's doing a good job. He's Drew Carey sure after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the game shows during daytime, they haven't really changed all that much, and I guess it's not really a big surprise.
No. Yeah, they've got their audience. They know they're not getting another one. So they've got to fucking hang on to them.
Yeah, I don't know how these game shows like The Price is Right and I don't know what the hell else, how they're going to move on. I really don't know. Yeah,
I think they're the end of an era, man. I
think so too.
I don't think they're gonna like become relevant to millennials at any point.
Those millennials.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wheel of Fortune lately?
Nope.
Well, you're not missing. No, you're not missing anything because it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still Vanna White and Pat Sajak. Still.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Something has never changed.
Probably.
Until everybody dies.
Yeah, they'll just bring them back to life, I guess. Yeah, Pat Sajak will just come back to life.
Yeah, we'll cryogenically freeze them, and then in 100 years we'll have Price is Right back again.
They'll just set up a hologram and use a deep neural network to reproduce the speech patterns of Pat Sajak. Cyber Sajak!
There it is. Yeah, it's going to be like that Black Mirror episode.
I haven't seen Black Mirror yet.
Oh man, it's worth watching. I haven't seen the second season yet. I should, but I really liked the first season a lot.
Okay, I've spoiled myself on some of the storylines because I was just curious, basically. But yeah, I should check it out.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
things like, speaking of things that I'm following now, I started watching the Game of Thrones season 6, and I don't want any spoilers for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
I've actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's a funny coincidence. I've been rewatching Game of Thrones.
From the beginning?
Yep.
Oh, that's an interesting experience.
Yeah, it's been a good time. It's been so long since I've seen the early seasons. I had kind of forgotten about some plot points.
Oh man, like almost every season of Game of Thrones, I realized I've lived in a different place. That's
Whoa.
just trippy to me.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's just thinking about it. But yeah, were there anything that stood out to you from rewatching the first few seasons of Game of Thrones?
The first season is incredibly good compared to future seasons. Like, you know, the whole show is really, really good and well produced, but man, that first season, just flawless. Just so goddamn good. Besides that, I don't want to get into spoilers and stuff, just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, it's fun seeing the old plot points again, remembering exactly how everything came together.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like when I get to season 5, I think I'm pretty sure I only watched that one once and not very carefully. So there's a lot of stuff where I don't remember what happened there. So that'll be good when I get there. But right now I think I'm on season 3.
Okay. Oh yeah, that season. Yep, that was a season.
That was quite a season. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just like on episode 1 of season 3 or so.
Yep. Man, I remember, like, I knew what was going to happen because I had read the books, and I'm not going to spoil it here in case you haven't seen it, dear listeners, but I was just waiting for people to get on Twitter after a certain scene in season C, just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't, no, I totally was watching. Yeah, I think I started watching in the middle of season 3. So that was like the third new episode I saw.
Yeah.
Or like the third episode that I saw while I was caught up. If you like the one that I saw on the night it came out, and I was just like, oh shit. Welp. And now I have to fucking wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, well,
So.
it's do you want to move on to the game of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dark fantasy stuff that we're talking about, so it's a good segue here.
Mm-hmm.
And the game of the week is Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. Arisen? How do you pronounce
Arisen.
it? Arisen, okay. Dark Arisen. And it's a fantasy game, somewhat, some people compare it to Dark Souls. I guess we can talk about that comparison, but it's a fantasy game, third-person fantasy action by Capcom. What did you think of it?
It's very interesting. It's unique in a lot of ways. It's got, so the conceit of this game is that you're not just your dude. It's kind of like, you know how in a JRPG you've got your party of like, you know, you got your healer and you got your like damage dude and you got your tank, and they like participate in turn-based combat together. This is like that, except it's you know, obviously in real time, and your other people are just controlled by computers. But it's this idea of like, you're not just a dude, you've got a party with you, and you have to be kind of concerned about your party composition and make sure you've got, you know, ways to deal with, for example, a monster's resistant to magic, make sure you have a dude with a big sword to kill it, and you know, so forth, you know, the vice versa, and you know, make sure you have a healer and everything. So there's an element of team composition to it, but you do just play your one dude that you made.
Yeah. So
that's a neat twist, I think. I think Dragon Age does something similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, Dragon Age is pretty much that, right? Especially Dragon Age. Let me think back upon this. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition especially, I think. Because if I remember correctly, it's been so long now since I first played Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins, you can play it as kind of like a third-person RPG, like Final Fantasy 12, basically, in which you set orders for your troops, and then they perform it in that order, and you're just basically playing one character at a time. You can switch between them.
Right.
And then Inquisition is a little bit more action-oriented, and in both cases, you can just pause and play like a traditional RPG. Western RPG. But if you so prefer, you could play it like a third-person action RPG. So it is similar, Dragon's Dogma, in that sense. But I feel like Dragon's Dogma has a lot more action to it than Dragon Age Inquisition, or Dragon Age, any Dragon Age.
Yeah, it's because they're all computer controlled and you can't change that. It still just feels like playing an action RPG. Like you're just playing your dude and your other dudes are doing their stuff, but it's not like you have to micromanage them or even can if you wanted to. You just have to play it out in real time.
Mm-hmm. And much has been made of the pawn system, which is what it's called, in which you are you create your own pawn and that pawn is with you all the time. But then you can summon another pawn from the pawn dimension. I don't even know what it's called anymore. And that is your party, basically. I think Capcom went to a lot of trouble to try to make it seem like they're actual party members without actually doing a lot of scripting to them. So they will comment on the locations that you're in, but it's not like they have long backstories or anything like that.
No. Yeah, there's like, oh, the road fork's here. Let's make really sure that we're going the right way. They say that every fucking time you get to a fork in the road. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, I'm looking at the map. Thanks. It's a really weird story behind them. Like, people talk about them like they're just like objects. Like, they're like, oh yeah, a pawn won't do anything if a human doesn't tell it what to do. So they're just like weird humans that are just exist to be slaves, basically.
Yeah,
very strange thing.
That was kind of strange because what you're referring to is at the beginning town in which they say that basically they will say if they don't have something they do, they will just stand there and starve to death and die, or something like that. And then when you get them, they become the most talkative people on Earth.
Yeah, they just act like people, or like any other NPC in the game, anyway.
Yeah, but you wouldn't imagine those two to be the same thing, right? If I was told that a person is just going to stand there and die, I would expect them to be very listless and not really wanting to do much except whatever you tell them to do, and not much aside from that. But they become super like talkative tour guide / I'm going to kill that monster for you guy.
Yeah. I made a warrior called Big Bertha, and her favorite pastime is taking a dude who's one hit away from dead, and instead of hitting him, grabbing him and being like, come help me with this guy. So I have to run over and finish him off.
That's really weird too, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole, I'm grabbing this guy, come here and finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally strategically valuable sometimes, because it's a full disable on an enemy. But if they're one hit away from dead, there's not really a lot of point in it. But yeah, a little bit lacking in their decision-making abilities, but it's not bad. It's not like, I'm one of those people who gets really pissed off dealing with NPCs and summons in video games, like having to deal with fighting with things I don't control, and these are not among the worst that I've ever dealt with. They're pretty good generally. Yeah.
I mean, I actually enjoyed adventuring in the world with them. Yeah. Maybe it's because, well, I've played Dragon Age Inquisition, but I did think that it's been a while since I played an RPG in which I felt like it's just me and a bunch of guys in a fantasy world. So I guess that part of me got scratched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. Also, character creator is amazing. Oh yeah. Did you mess with that at all?
To a certain degree. I made my pawn because I called myself Zen, right? So I usually do. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm going to make my pawn, and oh no, this is going to sound awful. But yeah, I said, hey, you know what? Let's adventure with Cyrene. So I made my pawn Cyrene.
Okay.
Which she's not a pawn at all in real life, but she's a queen, guys. But but what I'm saying is that I did try to reproduce her to a certain degree inside the game, like her build and stature. But I didn't go around to really messing around with the fine facial features because I was impatient.
Sure. Yeah, I tried to very quickly make a monstrosity, and I succeeded. So you'll see in the footage, you should have seen pretty early on, me creating my own dude. It's great. He's a little green dude. He's very rotund, super rotund, and has like a super weird like thing jutting out of his abdomen. Like his bone structure is not correct. And he's got a nice like twirly pink mustache, and he's balding, and he bears a certain resemblance to Ralph, who is an infamous Second Life character who this guy made to troll people. He just walks around asking about furries and stuff and having a great time.
Wait a minute. Wait, this Ralph guy, I'm trying to think back. He's not the character created by Sean Elliott, right?
Might be, I don't know. He's a super short, weird little goblin dude who's like, "Hey guys, where do you find the sex, huh?"
It could be Sean Elliott.
You're gonna hook me up? And this dude's like, "Oh yeah, I'll dig into my black book for you, man." He's like, "Yeah, actually, do you have a white book?"
Oh no! It sounds so much like Sean Elliott. Okay, so are you familiar with the magazine now defunct called Computer Gaming World, or Games for Windows Live magazine?
Games for Windows Live magazine?
Yes, it existed.
I'm not familiar with this.
So, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you cut out for a moment then, but
oh, weird.
Yeah, so you might. This is going to sound really strange, right? But Computer Gaming World became Games for Windows magazine or something like that, officially sponsored by Microsoft, of course.
Right.
The podcast is spectacularly good. It is legendary, and because the editors didn't give a shit, basically. Right. And it came before the real heyday of podcasts. This predated Idle Thumbs. Right?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So you should, if you want an interesting look at 2006 era games and just some really funny people, you should listen to that. But Sean Elliott was one of the editors, and he went on to work for a big gaming company. I forget which one, but he's known for going into various games and trolling people like that. And they did discuss Second Life extensively on the show. And Sean would actually create characters and play and act them out like this Ralph character. So I'm thinking there's actually a pretty significant chance that it's the same person. But yeah, little bit of internet history for you.
I'm looking into it. I can't find any evidence that it's Sean Elliott, but I couldn't say for sure that it's not either.
Yeah, it may not be actually, but he's well known for trolling by creating characters.
Okay.
So
yeah, Ralph Pouton. This is his full name.
Ralph Pouton.
In Second Life. Pouton. Pootawn, and it's quite something.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's not Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it just struck me as something that he would do. So yeah, let's see. Dragon's Dogma. What kind of class did you play for him for the game?
I was the bow guy. Was
Sniper?
Strider,
yeah.
I think. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
I wanted to see the difference between shooting and being an up close melee fighter.
Yeah, same. I wanted the most variety, and I had already seen Rockley Smile right after the game came out on PC play a mage, and he kind of found out while he was playing that you miss out on some of the cool stuff because as a mage you don't have a melee weapon, so you can't like climb onto monsters and do that stuff. So I wanted to be able to experience that.
What did you think of the climbing?
It was not the most interactive part of the combat.
No.
You pretty much just run over and hit the grab button and then climb onto an ankle and then you just hit the attack button repeatedly. So it wasn't quite as exciting, but I had never seen it before. Because of that, like people in his chat were like, "Oh, dude, you don't get to do the climb on the monster stuff," and Nick was like, "Oh man, that sounds sweet." It's not that sweet.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a bit more impressive back when the game came out.
Probably.
Yeah, but yeah, I had some issues in which I would climb onto a monster, especially a certain very big one early in the game, and then just get weird camera angles. So I didn't like it maybe as much as I could have because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point I grabbed on to the Cyclops' leg, and then the Cyclops fell over backwards, and I was just underneath the leg unloading on it, but you couldn't see me at all. Because my dude's really tiny. Yes, he's just completely hidden under there, like, take that! Yeah! I named him Green 9090, but you know how you have to, like, give your character a name based on a list of names so that people who have parental controls on don't have to see it if you name your guy like Fuckbag McGee or something. So for that, I named him Gary, and I thought that was perfect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's a really good looking dude. There's one, like, for whatever reason you can change the eyes so that one of the eyes is closed, like he's permanently winking, so he's got that going on. It's excellent. Dude just needs a monocle and a top hat. He would be perfect.
Yep. I unfortunately
Maybe later on.
Yeah, maybe somebody's modded that into the game. I don't know. Yep. Let's see. I forget. There was something else I wanted to mention about the game. How far did you get into the game?
I got to the part where you have to like babysit a cart through a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished that, and that was the last thing I did.
That's exactly where I got to, too.
Wow, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really fucked up. I thought that I was going to have to do that mission over again, because I was like, I noticed that there were rocks that people were rolling down at us, and I was like, oh shit. So I was looking up and shooting the rocks, and I saw this giant boulder, and I was like, oh shit. So I shot it and got out of the way, and it just rolled down and hit my fucking animal pulling the cart, and did like 75% of its health, and I was just like, no! But luckily, it turns out that it doesn't actually like die if it runs out of health.
Oh?
It just no, it just falls over, and you have to like wait for it to get back up.
Oh, that's kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised when I didn't lose. I kept on being like, what the fuck? There's like 4 goblins unloading on this goat that has no health, and it's still alive. But yeah, it just doesn't die.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Did you do it at night or did you do it in the day?
It was. I think it like started becoming nighttime toward the end.
Okay.
Of it, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Keep me honest, chat. It should be on video right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I got kind of lost. Oh, I was just wandering around for a bit, just doing stupid things, and then I got there at night. Like,
Okay.
It was just pitch dark by the time I got to the starting location, and the commander or whatever who you're supposed to accompany was kind of mad at me, actually. Saying, did you wake up late today?
It's like 10 o'clock, dude. It was pretty good.
Yep.
Oh, one thing I do really enjoy in this game is the ability to pick up any NPC and throw them. I did a lot of that.
I did do as much as I should have, I think.
I had a really fun time with that. Like, I encountered a pawn on the road who I couldn't afford to hire, and I was just like, you know what? And I just picked him up and threw him off a cliff.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They don't care at all. They don't give a fuck.
They don't die?
No. No,
Oh.
they just get back up, like, down on the next road and start walking back up. It's really great.
Oh wow.
It's so, like, it's ragdoll physics, too. Like, they just get fucked up. Like, a couple of times I threw a dude, and I was like, oh my god, he just died, like, 4 times. He lands, his neck hits a rock, and he just, like cartwheels over it and then bounces. It's a pretty excellent physics system.
I think the way I would put it, the way I talked about it on Twitter was that as janky as the game was, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I don't know, if I had more time, I would definitely invest just spending exploring the world for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll keep on playing it or not, but I definitely enjoyed my time with it. Oh yeah, that was one thing we were going to touch on. Comparison to Dark Souls is not there.
Yeah.
Like, extremely different games. I don't know why people compare them, except that they're both third-person action RPGs that everybody was like, you'll never get it on PC, and then we did. That's where the similarities end. They're very, very different.
I agree. And I don't even play Dark Souls, but I can tell right away that it's very different.
Yeah, it's way more like story focused and like group focused, and the combat is much more spammy. Dark Souls is all about. It's basically completely focused on really. What am I trying to say? Like kinetic and specific combat, like combat where you have to really pay attention to what you're doing, and one slip up will kill you no matter how easy the enemy you're fighting is. And that's not this game at all. Much more traditional RPG combat in that, you know, you put on a bunch of armor and a goblin swings at you, it's not going to hurt you, that kind of thing. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're in terms of what it feels like to play them, completely different games.
I totally agree with that. I just didn't really see the comparison of Dark Souls. And, you know, I was talking about Dark Fantasy earlier. Maybe it's because I haven't gotten that much into the game, but I didn't really think that the game was all that dark, even though it started off with, like, you know, your heart being ripped out of your chest and then being replaced by God knows what. But it seemed pretty much like a standard fantasy world.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much that was the most gruesome part, and then it got better. Or not better, but, you know, more typical.
Typical. Yeah, somebody is going to write a journal article about that. Heart being torn out of your chest, a common occurrence.
How common is it?
Yeah, exactly. How common is it?
Well, 3 adventurers during this one tutorial got their hearts torn out, so...
So that's that. Dogma. I nearly called it... Wait, Dragon's Dogma. Arisen. There we go. Yep.
Yeah, fun game. So next week... oh yeah, we didn't even touch on this. There's a Humble bundle going on as well, in addition to the Good bundle. That contains, among other things, Volume, which is Mike Bithel's new video game. He's the same guy who played Texan Han Solo and also did Thomas Was Alone. And it's a stealth game. And I've been interested in it, and it is pay what you want in this Humble bundle, so definitely check that out. You'll also get Legend of Grimrock 2 TIS 100, which I'm not sure exactly what that is. And then on the higher tier, there's Infinifactory, The Secret World, and Dungeon 3. And then if you pay $14 or more, previous Game of the Week, Grim Dawn, which is totally worthwhile by itself.
Yep.
For $14. So, good bundle. Definitely should check that out. And at the very least, pay what you want down to $1 to pick up our next week's Game of the Week volume so that you can discuss along with us.
Yep. And I should say also that, speaking of Humble, if you are interested in Dragon's Dogma and Dark Arisen, that is still available as the first game in the monthly bundle.
Yep.
By the time you listen to this, it will be almost the end of November. So if you're interested in picking that up for, I think it was like $12.
$12. Yep.
And you're not already a subscriber, you will get that game and a bunch of other games that we don't know what it is until they reveal it. So that's a good deal. You should check that out.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that through the end of December as well. So keep that in the back of your head. Soon we'll find out what other games we bought with our $12, but not yet.
I really was resistant to that model because I don't really like buying into mystery items, but I just couldn't resist for Dragon's Dogma because I had wanted it for a while.
Yeah, it's a totally fine prospect for me when it's a game that's worth the $12 by itself.
Yeah,
like, you know, I fully expect every single other game in the monthly bundle to be not something I'm interested in, and that's fine because I just considered it buying Dragon's Dogma for $12, which is fine. Anyway, video games. Thank you guys for listening to the Game Not Game podcast. Definitely check out all these crazy game deals we've highlighted this week. Rip wallets. Sorry, everybody. Black Friday. That's how it is. And also, make sure to make your way over to Zen's channel, youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. There's going to be a link in the description. Check out the rest of his content. And next week, we'll be discussing Volume over there. So make sure to make your way over there and subscribe before you forget. Yep, and you're on Green's channel right now. Be sure to subscribe to him over here and all his social media platforms, Twitter, twitch.tv, mastodon.social, which is a real thing.
What? It's supposed. It looks almost exactly like TweetDeck. That's what it looks like. It's supposedly it's an open source Twitter replacement. So
God, what was that Twitter clone that came out like a year or two ago? Started with an O.
I don't know. Like every year or so, an open source social media replacement of some kind comes out, and I applaud that idea because I think Twitter might die at some point, given that it's under so much financial pressure. But it's just so hard to get those things off the ground.
Yeah, social media is a difficult thing to kickstart because everybody's already got their fucking social media. They're comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah,
go follow me on Mastodon. Anyway, I'm not there. You won't be able to find me. You won't be able to find me on Facebook either. But do follow Zen on Twitter and Twitch and wherever else you can locate that man. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.